country as they line up at the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus or Mahim Dargah grounds, depending on whether they're running the marathon or the half marathon distance. Now, this is the 18th edition of the Mumbai Marathon. And it's coming back after we missed 2 editions to COVID-19, that is in 2021 and 2022, respectively. Until 2017, Standard Chartered was the title sponsor, and circa 2018 onwards, the Tatas have taken over as the title sponsor. So what makes TMM so special? What does it take to run a half or a full at the Tata Mumbai Marathon? More importantly, what drives that indomitable spirit of the Mumbaikar to come on the streets to cheer and support runners on race day? We have 2 Mumbaikars to answer all these questions and more. Welcome, Girish and Tamil.
Thank you, Karthik.
Yeah. So I'm going to give a brief. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to give a brief introduction and then we're going to get into this conversation. Girish is basically the head coach at the A6 Running Club in Mumbai. He's also organized runs for the Garmin Run Club. And during COVID, he was part of an online initiative called as Stride with GB. He's an ACSM certified marathon trainer. He's an ultra-distance runner who's run about 21 ultra-distance races with a maximum mileage of about 252 kilometers in 48 hours at the Bangalore Stadium Run. He's run Comrades twice, and his best time has been 9 hours and 20 minutes on the Down Comrades. He's a passionate, beyond all this, he's a passionate ultra runner who loves sharing his knowledge and experience with fellow runners. And this is something runners across the country of all denominations would readily vouch for. He's had his own personal challenges from almost having a paralytic attack in about 2006 when he carrying about 100 kgs of weight on his body, to inspiring runners like the other panelist Tamil and one of our own, Karthik Nadar. In fact, Karthik goes to the extent, the other Karthik goes to the extent of saying that he can run negative splits only because of Girish. Girish, that's quite a readout, if I can say that.
We have done quite a runs together, Karthik and me, and I really enjoyed running with him. We had run in Eastern Express Highway before the lockdown also for the last 3-4 years. And we did the long run, the short run. Always we used to say that we have to start slowly, build it up and do negative. That race feeling should be there, how to build up. So we had quite a few runs together.
Wonderful to have you on the show. And that brings me to Tamil Arasan, as he's called. He's the captain of the Adidas Runners Club in Mumbai. And he's also a coach at an initiative called You Inspire Run. He again is an ACSM certified marathon trainer. He's run more than about 100 running events, 7 full marathons, 28 half marathons, and various 10K events. And he, running to him, he puts it rather interestingly, rather succinctly rather. He says a hobby rather, which became a passion. And now from passion, running has become an identity. And if you haven't, you should definitely see the video that he has made for Fastened Up, geared up towards the TMM. It's a very simple yet powerful video. Welcome, Tamil.
Thank you so much, Karthik.
And another small fact is that he is the 155 half marathon bus at the Tata Mumbai Marathon 2023.
Excited for it.
Wonderful. Okay. So we wanted to, just before we wade into the conversation, we've been receiving a lot of questions about the route preview on social media. So we just wanted to mention that on our social media channels, Geeks on Feet has put out the detailed route preview. We'll be making it a little bit more interactive in the days to come, but feel free to go and take a look at the routes. We've covered details like the elevation, the changes in the route, whatnot, in the write-ups that we've done. This is something that we do. This is bread and butter for us. So we've done that. Please feel free to go and visit that. And we also wanted to tell you that those of you who are on Twitter, Karthik and I, the other Karthik Nadar and I, will be, along with Arvind, will be hosting a Twitter Spaces tomorrow evening. That is on the 8th of January, which will again, where we will be doing, a brief overview of the route, logistics, and maybe have a small AMA session as well. So those of you on Twitter, please feel free to join the Twitter Spaces. Now, with that, let's cut the chase. So let me ask this to both of you guys. Why TMM?
TMM, Tata
Girish,
Mumbai
you
Marathon.
can.
Yeah, Girish, let's go with you first.
Yeah, Tata Mumbai Marathon. It's been the euphoria. You can see the start in Indian running culture. It started from the Mumbai Marathon. The standard started Mumbai Marathon in 2004. Before that marathon, or even you can see the running, there wasn't any culture. But year by year, it has bound by leaps. It has grown. It has created a wave, enthusiasm with the runners, the fitness, and this is something everyone looks up to. Tata Mumbai Marathon. It is you can say the big boss, the king of all the events. You can say.
Okay, big
World
boss.
level, international level, what world you can say that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tamil, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we can brag a little more about this great event since it's our own city event, and yeah, so the route itself is beautiful, and like it attracts many runners from outstation, and when such an event happening at a big scale, and you get to meet and greet runners from other cities and other countries too. I mean, it gives you a positive vibe across, and it motivates and inspires many people to step out and run. I mean, Tata Mumbai Marathon is something which is on everyone's mind. I need to do this at least once in my lifetime. So it is that kind of event.
So, in fact, both of you are, coaches in your own rights and have your own, associations with run clubs. And this morning, I run here in Bangalore in HSR, and the excitement was palpable. You could see people, and it was not like, go out and run. It was like, people are talking about things like taper, which till a few years ago was unheard of. Basically, you have runners of all shapes, sizes, and denominations talking about taper. That was the word that I could hear again and again this morning, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to throw this question out to you because you guys are on ground zero. So Girish, is the excitement palpable because it's coming back after COVID and whatever we've seen? TMM is coming back. So is the excitement in the running community really palpable about TMM? Are people looking forward to it? What is your sense of that?
Yes, of course. In fact, today we had an event, Live Uplifted with K6, for the TMM full marathon. We had more than 250 runners today.
Wow.
So we had that event at Geo World Drive DKC, and you could have seen the enthusiasm. Everyone was like, next week is TMM. So we were guiding that, don't race. This is not a race today. Evening period going on, go easy. We have to do the next week, whatever the race we are doing. And after the run also, everyone was so, sir, did we do okay? What will we be doing tomorrow? And next week, the race is coming up. So I think so, yes, this week, as you can say, the tapering part,
right.
It is more of like easy runs going on, doing short distance and all. The euphoria, the enthusiasm is very much there in the runners.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tamil, do you share that? Do you echo that sentiment, or what have your experiences been on this front?
Definitely. So when it's about TMM, like I've been training people for around from 2018. Wow. So when it comes, when the TMM is closer, inching towards, when we inch towards TMM, it is like people get serious about it. Like right. They start focusing more on their diet. The first thing, which they never do throughout the year. So the first thing is like, I need to be prepared. Like, I need to be on my best part. So that's there. Yeah. So TMM is like, it pulls everyone. It drives everyone to do something good for themselves.
Nice. Happy to hear that, in fact. And okay, this brings us to the expo. This time around, it's not just the route that has changed. Even the expo, as against BKC, they're doing it at a different place. I think the Bombay University at the Kalena grounds, and they have a slot kind of a system. So this is one thing we want to tell everybody: if you haven't booked your slots, you should probably go and do that. Plan your slots around the time that you arrive, and factor for the fact that you need to arrive at the expo. So based on that, if you haven't slots, please do that for your bib collection, right? And when are you guys going to be at the expo? Girish, when are you going to the expo?
I'll be going on Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. Okay. Is there any specific reason you're going on Thursday and not on Friday or Saturday?
Saturday maybe I'll go. Friday I have my cousins coming from US, so Friday I won't be going.
Okay, are they running TMM?
No, they are not.
Okay, nice. Okay, and Tamil, I don't even have to ask you when you'll go because Saturday you'll have to be there as part of the Pacers briefing, I guess. But yeah, I'll still have to ask
Correct.
you the question. Yeah, so are you going to be there
I'll
only
be
on
there. I'll
Saturday,
be
or
there on
are
the
you going to?
14th. I'll be there on the 14th and like the 13th and the 14th.
Okay, so you're going to be there on the 13th and the 14th. So, folks,
Like,
whoever are looking at doing a 150 to 155-ish half marathon finish, our man Tamil Arasan is going to be there on 13th and 14th. Feel free to hit him and pick on his brains, basically.
always up for it.
Nice, right. Okay, so which brings us to the other thing that makes TMM really prominent, right? Or rather TMM really famous. It's the prominent landmarks in the city. So I'm going to ask both of you. These are just kind of warm up questions before we get into the meat of the subject. So, but which is and we'll go the other way around this time. So Tamil, what are some of the prominent landmarks that you really relate to on this particular course? And it could be either on the FM or the HM course, whatever you want to take a stab at.
Okay, I would go with the ceiling first.
Okay.
Like the beautiful view in the morning and the sun, rising on your left if you're doing a full or a half, like the sun rising on your left, and it's a beautiful view there. And that is one. And the second one is the pedal road, the challenging. I mean, people call it challenging, but it's fun when you train more on it.
Right.
When you train quite often on it, it feels like home. Like it's easy. Like it's nothing. Like you can do it easily. So that one and the Queen's necklace. I mean,
oh, so by the Queen's necklace, you mean the Marine Drive?
Marine Drive. Yes. This the 3.5 kilometer stretch.
Right. Okay. Lovely. And Girish, what about you? I mean, what are your favorite landmarks on this particular course?
Well, of course, the ceiling. Where do we get a chance to run on the ceiling other than the TMM day? Right. You are in your car driving from this end to that, and that's it. Never on your feet. But the feeling running on the ceiling early in the morning, like Tamil said, you can see the sunrise from there. It's a beautiful view. And that image is still every time whenever we run on the ceiling early morning, it's a really beautiful scene out there.
Right. Yeah. I'm wondering, because almost everybody seems to say ceiling. So I'm just wondering, have you Bombay guys ever thought about petitioning the government that at least on Sunday for a few hours every week, just, close ceiling for traffic so that we can keep running on it basically? And would the authorities pay heed to that request if it ever happens?
I don't think so that will happen.
So I encourage the mostly train. Yeah, so I and Girish mostly train at Bandra, so we get a good view of the ceiling from Bandra. So it is like right. It reminds every time of TMM.
Wow! I just want to kind of build on that. See, you guys train there. See, how different is training? See, because for us it's probably a once a year kind of a thing, but you guys almost train around these places, right? So how different is the experience on race day versus what you guys do on training? Isn't it the same route that you're racing that you train basically? Or is there something, is there an X factor on race day that is not there on training on that same route?
So from November onwards, we train on the TMM route. We start from NCPA. We go according to the distance to Worli, to Shivaji Park, to Bandra, Mahim, and back the same route to get the feel, to be in the mode through of the TMM. But again, like we said that November, December, the weather is different from Jan 15th, second week of Jan. So we train for the route, being in the route. But weather again plays a very important part. And we train little late also to get in that mode, in the feel factor also. But just be in that mode, training with it.
Interesting. Tamil, you want to...
Yes, the weather plays an important role on the day of TMM, and it usually changes on the day of TMM. Like the day before, you'll find an awesome weather, and once you're up on the day of TMM, you feel it different. So yeah, so there is an adrenaline push when you when you race on your route which you have trained. Like,
right.
It's like your home ground. I mean, you are used to every bit and part of that route. Like where is the elevation? Where you're gonna hit the downhill? Where you're going to hit the flat surface. So, it automatically gives an adrenaline push during your race, And I would say, like, if you trained something, I mean, if you clocked something during your training, you will at least clock 10 to 15 seconds faster on your race day.
Oh, you're saying the pace would improve by 10 to 15
The
seconds.
pace would improve.
Wow. Oh,
Yes.
interesting. Very interesting, actually. Both of you, I picked up a common point there, the weather. And, I'm going to come to that because, see, most of us, and us included who live here in Bangalore, are experiencing excellent weather right now, right? We come from cold or maybe cool climates to Bombay, which is, more sea level and, there's that extra factor of humidity. So for people like this who come, see, for people in Mumbai, they probably are used to this to an extent because, like you said, they've trained on the course, they've trained in similar weather conditions, maybe even harsher weather conditions to what it might be right now, basically. But what would be your suggestion from a racing perspective? And I'm going to break this down into two things, right? One is from a running perspective, which we can probably go to later. But from a fueling perspective, see, somebody in a cooler weather might, you know, take cooling slightly for granted, if I can use that word, versus what they should do in Mumbai. So, what would you say, for people who are coming from other cities, how should they be fueling on race day, basically? And, I would like Girish to come from a marathon perspective. And since you're pacing the half marathon, I'd like you to come from that perspective. So, maybe we can have you go first, Girish, on the marathon, and then we can have Amal go on the half marathon. In terms of fueling, what are some of the things that people should take care of?
So we start hydration, having electrol 2 days to 3 days before, from Thursday, Friday itself. We have electrol and 2 liters at least we have in a day. And in fact, the weather has mentioned that you never know what will be on the TMM day. From the last 7-8 years, I've been seeing it's being a jink. Good weather, Wednesday, Thursday till Saturday and Sunday. Again, that heat is there. So the fueling process should be started 2-3 days before, and you should keep on regularly hydrating, not only before, but also during at regular intervals. Humidity level is high in Mumbai, and I make it a point to have few sips of water every kilometer with electrolytes, reload, or BCW, whatever it is. So I recommend other runners also like to keep on sipping throughout every kilometer, and whatever water stations you get the energy drink, you should have that. If you're used to taking gels, you should have gels in between. If you have been trained before with the gels, so you should be making a plan accordingly and have gels accordingly every 7-8 kilometers, 10 kilometers, whatever the target you have and whatever you have trained before.
Okay. Yeah. So
sorry, I think I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So rightly said by Girish, so since the humidity plays, a different role on the day of TMM, so we start fueling ourselves from Thursday, Friday itself. So if you're having at least, 2 liters of water on your regular days, we suggest to have, 2.5 to 3 liters of water just before 2 days, prior to TMM. And in 1 liter of water, add in electrolytes and keep sipping it throughout the day, so that you're completely fueled up for the race day. And coming to carbohydrates, yes. So if you're used to taking gels in your training, you do take. So what I prefer is I take half of a gel 15 minutes prior to my run, and then every 35 minutes I squeeze in half of a gel, and every 15 to 18 minutes I take either electrolyte or water. So it depends completely, person to person, how they're trained, whether you're coming, which place you're coming from, and how your body reacts. So just make sure that you're not dehydrated through the run. If you feel thirsty, it means you're already dehydrated. So make sure before you hit that, the thirst zone, you hydrate yourself, maybe 2 to 3 minutes prior to that. So you need to set a time for yourself, how you hydrate.
Okay, and I think that's a great point. Hydrate before you're thirsty, especially in Mumbai kind of weather. And there's another added question to this, right? So let's say Fastened Up is the hydration partner for the Tata Mumbai Marathon. So do you, when you train, do you ensure that you use the same kind of electrolytes that are going to be offered in the race? Also, is that a good idea, basically?
Yes, of course it is. You should be using it training, so you're getting used to the system. It shouldn't be new during the race day. Anything new, you never know what the reaction will be. So it is better to have during your long runs electrolytes, the BCAA or the reload, as well as the gel should also be used during the longer runs, the training days. So you can get used to, your system should get adapted with.
Okay, so this might sound a little tried to most of the seasoned runners, but it's the tried and tested formula. Don't experiment on anything new. And that brings me to another important point. This is something that a lot of people miss. And in retrospect, we realize it, especially people like us who come from better climates to a humid climate. How important are salt caps in the Mumbai kind of weather, actually?
I myself use the salt caps. So humidity level as such that you sweat a lot, you lose a lot of sweat also. So the salt is there. So salt tablets do help a lot. To me, I have been using them for the long runs and the races. And
okay.
Every 1 hour I have a salt cap, so at least I have 3 salt caps.
Okay. Tamil, would you concur with that?
Yes, if I would go for a salt cap, if I'm doing a full in Mumbai, I don't think for a half you require. Again, it depends on person to person, how your body reacts.
How your body reacts. But regardless of the distance, whether it's a full or a half, the one common theme here seems to be drink before you're too thirsty, basically, or drink before you're feeling thirsty so as to avoid dehydration, and keep your electrolyte levels up for the 2 or 3 days leading up to the race. It's not just about on race day morning, but something that you need to do it as, a prelude to the race, basically.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that brings us to the other perspective, which is basically the racing part or the running part. So I'm going to ask a quick question and then we'll get into the details. Girish, according to you, which are the toughest and easiest segments of the full marathon in Tata Mumbai Marathon?
The start is early 5:15. This year is starting. Before that, it used to start at 5:30, 5:40. So the first part is always easy compared to the second part for the full marathon. When we start from CST, we take the oval circle, Marine Drive, the Pedder Road, we cross to the ceiling. You can see the runners, half marathoners of them. So it's like a flow. You just are with the flow. You never know the distance it is being covered. But when you're coming in the second half from Mahim, so that takes a turn, that hits you, and by the time you're crossing the Shivaji Park and coming towards Worli sea face, the weather changes, the sun comes out, temperature rises. It keeps on building. The tough part keeps on building up from Worli sea face. You can say the Hajali, again, there's no cover. The sun comes up, and then comes the Pedder Road. Pedder Road again coming at 35 to 36, hitting up. If you have saved the energy, it will be an easy flow. But if you haven't conserved much, it will be a tough. So the toughest part for me, according, is the Pedder Road at the 35-36 kilometer.
35-36. And one thing about Pedder, right? I mean, it's kind of made out to be the heartbreak hills of India. I personally believe it's not probably about the inclines as much as about the part that where it comes in the race, basically. Maybe the incline wise, it's something that, you can still deal with if it had probably come earlier in the race, basically. But the fact that, like you rightly mentioned, it comes at the 35th kilometer when your body is asking questions of you.
You're hitting the wall and then it becomes more difficult. The weather, the humidity level, the temperature rises. And at that time, towards the end of the race, that becomes difficult. But when you start, at the 8th and 9th kilometer, when you cross the Pedder Road, you won't feel in the start. While coming back, only it hits you.
So would you say that this is a race which is most certainly not a negative splits race basically? I mean, you should have, if you're targeting a particular time, you should have some time in the bank, let's say at the halfway mark, so that you can make up for all this stuff in the second half of the race. Would you agree with that, or
yes,
what do you think?
Of course. As I said, the weather changes, the temperature rises, so it becomes difficult. If you don't have much energy left, you would lose the time, you would lose energy. In fact, this will be, I've been running the Tata Mumbai Marathon from 2008, and this will be my 9th Tata full marathon.
Wow.
And believe me, 5 races, I have been in the segment of 344 to 346. So the calculation is as such that the first half I have done between 149 to 151 in all the races, in the 5 races which were there. and the last second half is always um, 6-7 minutes more than the first half only.
Okay. So that kind of tells you how much it takes, the toll that the race takes basically on you in the second half basically. I'm also going to ask you another question, and then I'm going to come to Tamil also on this. This time around, we are told, right, because I've not been to Mumbai at least since the last edition, but there's quite a bit of construction activity going on the route basically, and there are changes in the route, right? There are some changes in the route. By and large, it's still the traditional route, if I can call it that, but with some changes here and there. Is this something that we as people coming from other cities should be worried about?
There are two factors, good as well as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Good is that where we took the Varli loop, where we used to take at the 29-30th kilometer, we used to take a loop at the Varli Seapress. That loop is not there. So that distance will be covered up at the ceiling after the toll. 2 kilometers will be taking a loop over there. So that is manageable in the first half.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
Okay.
It's a good thing compared to the previous edition. Doing a loop at Varli, doing the loop at ceiling is much more better because it comes at the 21st kilometer rather than at the 30th kilometer doing a loop over there. And
right.
Yeah, so this is better. And the bad part is just the roads are a little barricaded, the work is going on. But I'm sure the organizers must have taken care of that. At least at that day, the HUI will be much more clear. The work will not be there, and we could have what barricades is now, that will be a little open.
And for the benefit of our friends who prefer to run barefoot, is the course still barefoot friendly with all this construction stuff that is going on basically?
So the construction is on the sideway, but the dirt does come on the road. And I know the organizers take a lot of effort cleaning the roads from night itself. So I think that would be taken care of.
That'll be addressed. Okay, wonderful. And I think for those of you who have run the previous editions, to just paraphrase what Girish said, there used to be this horrible INS Tarata loop, where you go around and then do a loop, a jalebi kind of a thing, and then come back. Thankfully, Girish says that is now out of the picture, basically. So that hardship you have to face now immediately after sealing. So at least that's the good news. The bad news is there might still be some constrictions here and there, which you'll have to put up with. But then that's what life is all about, right? It cannot be all roses at the same time. Yeah. So that moves me on to Tamil. And just to remind people, Tamil is actually pacing the 1 hour 55 bus, right? 1 hour 55 bus. Am I correct?
Yes. Correct.
So Tamil, what about you? What do you think basically? I mean, which is the toughest part of this course from the perspective of a half marathon? Which is the toughest part of this course and which is the easiest part of this course?
Okay, so for this year, the start point for the half marathon is changed. So we used to start from Worli and then enter the Worli, the ceiling, and then take a U-turn on the ceiling and go back and stick to the full marathon route. But then this year we are starting from Mahim and then we're doing the ceiling and then joining the full marathon route. So I would say the toughest part for this year would be the start point. Okay. So people would try to push in the first half. And they'll be out of energy in the when they reach Pedder Road. So I would say reserve your energy in the first half in the initial till the time you move out of the ceiling, and then you can try to push in. So try not to do a negative split or a positive split on TMM day for the half. So I would like to share my pacing plan for the 155
please.
bus.
Yeah.
So I'll be starting from the section A. Okay, the lineup is A. So there are runners who would be starting from B, C, D, and E and would like to join bus, the 155 bus, or maybe the sub 2 bus. So the first 2 kilometers, I've kept it quite slow, maybe 10-15 seconds slower than the race pace, so that the runners from behind can juggle through the crowd, the walking crowd, and then cover up the distance. And then we'll be maintaining an average pace of 5:25, which is 2 seconds faster than your race pace. Which is quite manageable on the flat surface. So we'd be doing that. And when we reach Pedder Road, we'd be slowing down again by 20 seconds for that 2 kilometers of pedal road, and then again going back to your 525. So
Okay.
that's my racing plan. So I think it should be easy for most of them to cover up, not getting your heart rate too up or too low, just maintaining the speed.
This is interesting because Girish said, from a marathon perspective, a negative split is something which is, a pretty tough thing to achieve in Mumbai. But the way you are, spelling out your pacing strategy from a half marathon perspective, and I'm going to say this again, from a half marathon perspective, a negative split seems to be a good idea. So let me ask you this question. Would you say that from a half marathon perspective, Mumbai is actually a PB course in spite of Pedder?
Uh, can be, but there are other courses in Mumbai which are, where you can go faster than TMM.
Right. Okay. And I think the start time for the half is also 5:15 a.m. if
The
I'm
same,
not wrong.
5:15 a.m. Yes.
So there are chances that your bus will reach the finish line even before the sun has come out. Actually, I mean, even before dawn has broken. Actually.
Correct.
Okay. So to paraphrase you, the challenge could be in the initial section when people come out of that dargah ground basically, and come
Yes.
onto the ceiling. People should be a little careful there. After that, it should be a relatively comfortable ride back home basically.
Correct.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, let's talk about your respective clubs also. So one thing Mumbai is really known for is, and this is something we don't get to see in other cities. I mean, now in some pockets we are, but by and large Mumbai has been a trailblazer in this regard. It's the way the people of Mumbai, the average Mumbaiker, or whoever it is, depending on where they live, they come out and cheer you, and they bring out all these goodies, and they give it to you, they cheer you, right? Pedder is a living example of that. So my most vivid my most vivid memory of Pedder always is this. There is this, I don't know, there's, I think, the Japanese cultural club or something on Pedder, and they're always out there basically. They, and looking at them, giving them a high five, cheering, brings in a fresh dose of energy into me. That's my experience. So I want to ask you guys, I mean, you have the ASICS Run Club, Girish, and you have the Adidas Run Club. Are you guys, apart from whatever Fastened Up or Procam has or Bisleri has in terms of aid stations, do you guys have cheer zones at specific points on the race? And if people have to find them, where do they find them basically?
We have two stations this time.
Uh-huh.
So we have the snack station at 3 kilometer mark. That will be near Pizza by the Bay. So it will be at the start itself for the full marathoners, 10 kilometers. Then the light runners will be there. Then the Dream Run, senior citizens. So everyone will be covered there.
Mm-hmm.
It will be at the start 3 kilometers. Then second hydration energy station we have at the 38.7 kilometer. It will be at Cream Center, Chopati. So,
okay.
Yeah, so many runners, after finishing their half marathons from our club, they will be joining the energy station to cheer and support the fellow half marathoners, the full marathoners, to be on the road to help them. And you can see the energy level. I have, from the last 3 years, I've been doing the energy stations, ASICS Run Club, and it's like a euphoria out there, cheering it down, guys, and everyone is out there. So that enthusiasm, vibration, the positive, it's very good over there.
Okay, wonderful.
The volunteers who have registered till now, we have 30 volunteers in the two stations. So they are very enthusiastic about it. Few are not running, and others, those who are running at the half, they will, and the 10K, they will be covering up for the stations.
Okay, wonderful. And so 3rd kilometer and the 38th kilometer is where you said you'll have your snack center and energy center. That were the words you used basically. Okay, so people look out for a lot of high fives and cheering, and feel free to, it's not like it's an exclusive thing that's only for ASICS people or only for a club brand. It's of Mumbai. Everything is open for everybody. So feel free to indulge. Mumbai is ready to indulge you. Feel free to indulge yourself on the course, basically. Right? And Tamil, what about you? What about the Adidas runners? Where are they going to be around on
so, yeah. Okay, so we have around 25 volunteers from our group, and the first group is at the halfway mark of the full marathon, which is the 21-kilometer mark. So that's the hydration point we have. So it's at the reclamation, the Bangalore reclamation. Once you exit from the ceiling, So we have one station there, and the other one is just close by to Gerisar's station, which is at the 38.6 kilometers. We have a snack, a snack counter there. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So I think the full marathoners are going to be indulged a lot, at least when they're struggling the most, from the way you guys are telling me, actually.
Correct.
Nice. In fact, there's an additional question. There's an audience question also for you, Tamil. When does Spedder come on the HM course? So I'm assuming they're asking at what kilometer does Spedder come on the HM course, basically, on the half marathon course?
The 14th and the 15th.
The 14th and the 15th.
14th, 15th, yes.
In fact, that brings another very interesting question. This is something that a lot of people have been asking, and I'm going to ask both of you this question. See, after Pedder, I think after that what do you call it? Kemp's Corner, probably, right? After that, I think there is a nice downhill or a net downhill all the way until, let's say, Chopati, basically. A lot of people seem to think that what you lose on Pedder, you make up on that downhill. What are your thoughts on that, Tamil?
Well, we still have distance to cover up. We still have 35, 36 is the up. When you come down, 37, we still have 5 more kilometers to go. If you give the full out in that down, you may say 5 to 10, 15 seconds. But the last 5 kilometers being at Chopati Marine Line, the flat stretch, in the weather, that will take a toll. So we shouldn't gust down. Little bit, we can say that we can increase the pace, but we shouldn't sprint down. I've seen many runners, those who have sprinted down, and they get cramps at Chopati. Because they are not able to, you can see many runners at Chopati getting cramps in the last 4-5 kilometers because of the sudden gush, sudden downhill. So sensibly, you shouldn't sprint down. You'll say 5 to 10 seconds, but you'll spoil the race afterwards. So better to...
That last 3 to 4 kilometers is brutal, isn't it? Because there's no, at least from a marathon standpoint, right? Because there's no sunshade, right? I mean, so there's no shade from the sun, basically. It's by and large, you're exposed to the sun. And what you're saying is that if you're going to push really hard on that downhill after Kemp's Corner all the way till Chopati, you will invariably end up paying the price after that, basically, right? So in the marathon, it would be a better idea to probably coast, recover well, mentally prepare yourself for what is coming after that, basically, right? I mean,
conserve energy and save for the last kilometers.
Conserve energy and save something for the last few kilometers, basically. Wonderful. Tamil, how different is it for a half marathon? Would you agree, or would you say no, that is the time you really make up, basically, and then jo hoga dekha jayega?
No, I go with Girish sir. So it is like you need to conserve energy, though you might find a downhill there. You need to conserve your energy. I mean, so go with the plan. I would say always go with the plan. So, see your pace. I mean, look into your watch. Okay, this is what you have lost in the uphill. Okay, you can't cover the entire thing, but it's okay. 5 to 10 seconds up and down is fine. You can cover it up on the flat surface, but do not rush in through your downhill. So that's one part everyone needs to. You might have a urgency to rush in there because you might see some new runners or who have just started. You might see them rushing through the downhill, but then you need to go with a plan.
So
you need to be more sensible.
Okay, so regardless of whether people you're running a full or a half, the advice, the same counsel here is that you need to be a little sensible when you hit that downhill. Don't get carried away, because you still have another 3 to 4 kilometers at a minimum before you hit the finish line. So be wise in whatever you do once you hit the Kemp's Corner flyover, which probably brings us to the final segment of this show. And this is going to be, again, a two-pronged question, right? What are some of the common pitfalls that runners, new as well as seasoned, do at the Tata Mumbai Marathon? Something that you guys have observed, because you have run this race multiple times, different distances. What are some of the common pitfalls that runners do, and they should be avoiding it? Girish, will go with you first. Yeah.
Like I said, the Mumbai weather. The second half is brutal. So you shouldn't, like I said, the negative split shouldn't be there. You should conserve energy. You should save energy for the second half. If the first half you have planned that, no, I'll give my full out, that is also wrong. You should be in moderation as such, that you are doing well in the first half, but you're conserving and saving energy to be covered in the second part. So you're not too fast or too slow. You are in that phase that you are covering up the distance and saving as well for the second half. So you should run sensibly and not cover up in the first half.
Wonderful. And if I can, kind of extend that question, what is that one mistake that Girish Bindra has observed that he's done edition after edition after edition that he will fix this time around? Something that he himself would want to work on in this particular race, basically, in this particular edition of the Tata Mumbai Marathon.
Mostly all my runs have been in the same segments, but I think so. The one thing that I will try to cover up, that in the second half, the difference I will try to keep it down. The
Wonderful.
difference, which is 6 to 7 to 8 minutes, I'll try to plan it as such that keep it to a minimum. Not to calculative in that precise, but whatever improvement I can do in the second half, I will do, not in the first half. If I try to increase the pace in the first half, I know I'll ruin the second half. So I will try to see that the second half I'll improve on that.
Okay, so you're saying that the splits between your first half and second half, you will try to bring them a little closer to each other, basically, right? Okay, that's a nice objective or goal to have, basically. Tamil, that brings me to you. What are some of the common pitfalls that you see people do, basically? And you're a pacer also this time, so
right. Sure.
Yeah.
So do not try anything different on the race day or the day before. Okay. When you're at the start line, make sure you are well hydrated, like a soaked sponge with full of water. So your body should be like that, because you anyways you're gonna drain out after a few kilometers. So make sure at the initial stage, at the start line, you are well hydrated, you're carb loaded. All right. Have something 20 minutes prior to your run. Carry something in your pocket which you can have 20 minutes prior to your run. So the thing is, like, people travel from far, and what they do is, like, they have their small meal or whatever, like 2 to 3 hours prior to the run, and they travel and they don't have anything to consume just before the run. So I would suggest carry a banana, small banana, just you can have it 20 minutes prior to your run, and then start off. Take a deep breath, start slow. Okay, it's okay. You might see runners, rushing through in the first 2 kilometers, trying to get ahead of each other and juggle through the crowd. So the half marathon crowd would be almost double the full marathon crowd. So don't take it light. Then you can push through and you can go. No, it's okay. It's a long battle you need to fight and come out in the first 2 kilometers. So save your energy in the first 2 kilometers and be sensible in your hydration. Do not overhydrate and do not go out of hydration. Also, if you're holding on to a pacer, okay, being a pacer, I would suggest, like, I have done my PBs holding on to pacers. So if I have a goal of 2 hours, so I would definitely stick to someone between 155 to 25. That would be my zone. Not starting off with a 150 pacer.
Okay.
Correct.
I think
that's
a great input. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So what people do is, like, I see a 150 pacer. Okay, I'll stick to him. Halfway down the mark, I'll slow down, and I'll catch the second pacer, the third pacer. But then till then, you're late there, and you realize that you already lost all your energy, and you're slowing down more, and you lost your 2-5 bus too. So make sure you have a proper plan when you run. And yes, so there are pacers who speak. So as a pacer, I speak a lot throughout my run.
Okay. That's a good point.
I also carry a small speaker with me, playing some motivational songs for runners, so that they can hear and stick to me.
Right.
So yeah. So that's how the pacing is going to work. So I'll be talking a lot throughout the run, so you can just stick to me. And yeah, even I try to stop on a race, like, I've always tried to stop runners who try to go too fast.
Oh, okay.
So when I talk to them, they say, like, yeah, my target is, like, suppose 2 hours.
Right.
Then I find them going 30 seconds faster than me. Then I just shout out, buddy, you're going too fast. Slow down. You have more distance to cover. So that is one thing you need to focus. That do not look on other runners and try to push in. Stick to your own plan. You do what you've done in your training.
That's a great input. Stick to your own plan. Don't get carried away by the people around you. And I really like that corridor part, right? If you're looking at something like a 2 hour finish, try to be between the 155 to, let's say, 205 bus, basically. As long as you are in that range, in that ballpark, there's always a better chance that you're going to hit it at 2 hours, basically. And you said you're going to be carrying a speaker along with you, basically. So there's a lot of entertainment on your bus as well, basically. Is that the plan? Hello, you're on mute. Can you just unmute yourself? Hello, you're on mute.
Hello.
Yeah. Now it's better. So is there a lot of entertainment also on that bus? You said you're going to carry a speaker with you.
Yes, I'm gonna carry a small speaker with me, playing music throughout the 21 kilometers.
Wonderful. That's a nice. That's good.
So
That's
there's a
good.
pacer group which is created.
Uh-huh.
So there's a pacer group which is created for the 155 bus. So just gonna, 2 days prior to the race, I'm just gonna ask people for their favorite playlist or a favorite song which
Oh
I can
wow.
play. Yeah.
Talk about indulging. Are you going to play some Tamil songs as well? Tamil? Are you going to play some Tamil songs as well? Tamil? You're on mute again. You've muted yourself.
Unmute.
Yeah. So are you going to play some Tamil songs as well?
Sorry, I can't.
Okay. I don't know. Arvind, are you able to hear me? Hey, Girish, are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, the line got disconnected.
Okay, perfect. I think we'll come back to Tamil. There seems to be some sort of a connection issue there, which brings me to another question. What shoes are you going to wear on race day, Girish?
I'll be wearing the Meta Speed Sky Tokyo
Oh,
version.
wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
flaming orange red color, and I had won the last in the Vasai Virar full marathon as well. So I'll be
Okay.
wearing the same shoes in the Tata Mumbai marathon.
And you feel it works well for you? You feel that the shoe works well for you for the marathon distance?
Yes, it has a full carbon plate, lightweight shoes, hardly I think so 220 grams, and I love the shoes.
Wonderful. Very nice. Hey, Tamil, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So what I was asking you was, are you going to play some Tamil songs on that playlist as well, basically?
There are a couple of them.
Some Talapati songs, I hope. Okay, wonderful. Tamil, what shoes are you wearing on race day?
So I've run most of my races in the recent days with Adidas Adios Pro 2.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So guys, just to do a little bit of marketing here, we have something called as Shoe Geeks as well, and you can read the reviews of both of these wonderful shoes that our panelists have mentioned over there. They're really good shoes, and people have responded pretty positively to both these shoes. So do consider taking a look at these shoes from a racing perspective. Now that brings us to the last segment of this show. And Tamil, I'm going to start with you here. You do something called as You Inspire, right? You have an initiative called You Inspire or something similar.
You Inspire Run Club.
Yeah, You Inspire Run Club, and one of your stated missions is to make Dharavi run, actually, right?
Right.
And to that end, you work with people from Dharavi. And this is no easy task. I mean, this is social engineering 101. So do you want to share a little bit about this experience of working with people from Dharavi? And are some of these people going to run the Tata Mumbai Marathon?
Sure, definitely. So when I started with my long distance running, I didn't have anyone to guide me or support me where I reside in Dharavi. So I used to go to different running clubs to train. I used to train under Girish sir, and I used to go out and train with other groups. Then I used to go to a lot of injuries myself. So there was no proper training. So I used to undergo a lot of injuries. So I sat with Girish sir once and he said, do your certification. At least even if you don't train someone, you can learn it for yourself. You can learn the science behind running for yourself. So that's how my journey started with coaching. And 2017, I did my certification. And for 1 year, I just experimented stuffs on myself. And in 2013, with a group of 4 friends, we started this You Inspire Run Club, where we do it for a social cause. In Dharavi, it is always known for a negative negative side. But it's not that case right now. I mean, earlier it might be before my birth, or during my parents were here. It would have been a different scenario. But now the things have already changed a lot. But even if we go out and we say, we live in Dharavi, or we stay in Dharavi, or I am from Dharavi, we are looked down. Like
Oh,
I experienced this, and anyone who stays in Dharavi might have experienced this once in their lifetime. So, and there is a lot of potential in Dharavi. So as a group of friends, like, we started this run club, and then we started posting it on Facebook. We promoted through WhatsApp, and, through mouth to mouth, like friends around going out and speaking about the run club and stuff. So now we are a group of more than 150 people on page. So
wow.
150 runners, ranging from the age of 5 to 70.
5 to 70. Did you say 70?
70. 70,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. And all these people are from Dharavi.
Most of them are from Dharavi. So we got an exposure through running clubs and stuff. So people from outside have started coming in to train with us. So it's a good privilege. We can mix up with other group and get to learn many things from them.
That is
So
so
it's always a
heartening.
learning and unlearning stuff.
Fantastic. Fantastic. How many of these people are running the Tata Mumbai Marathon?
Right now, 15 of them are running. So
Wonderful.
out of them, 2 are running the full and 15 are doing the half.
Wonderful, wonderful. Kudos and more power to you for driving such initiatives, basically, right? Girish, there is I'm coming back to you, because again,
Thank you so much.
all
And it is always, there's always a backup for this. So we have Girish sir here, live example, who who supports us whenever we require. And then there is Karthik Nadan and his own group, which we collab and we train together. So it's a good vibe we have around our runners, amongst our runners.
Wonderful, wonderful.
We runners are first. Clubs are always secondary. Primaries, we are friends, runners. We are one community.
Right. And everybody seems to swear by Girish Bindra. So that's so wonderful, actually. There is in fact a question for you, Girish. Are there any tips to run better under the sun? I mean, I'm assuming this is probably from a marathoner, and he's asking about the last segment of the race. So, any tips to survive under the sun is probably what he or she is asking.
It's better to train first under the sun, then race under the sun. So tomorrow we are doing a long run. We are starting late. So we are doing a distance of, many are doing a distance from 18 to 24. Instead of the regular timing of 5:30, tomorrow we are starting at 6:30, 6:45 to just get the feel of the heat. It's always advisable to train first under the sun rather than only on the race day. So it's better that you should get used to it, how you feel it. So on the race day, you can know that how it is going to be in the next segment, the last segment, 5-6 kilometer.
Okay, that's a great piece of
that's 2-3 runs under the sun.
That's a great piece of advice. So whoever is asking that question, and by and large, even generally the suggestion for those who are planning to run a marathon in Mumbai, please maybe this week go and try 1 or 2 runs a little late in the morning rather than going out at, let's say, 5 or 5:30 or 6 o'clock. Try starting a run at 7 o'clock. And maybe in our cities, the other thing is by 8 o'clock the traffic builds up. So the traffic plus the heat will make the run even more challenging for you, and it should gear you up for that last point, and from a psychological standpoint as well. So Girish and Tamil, it's been wonderful having you guys here. All the very best for Mumbai. And we look forward to a fantastic Tata Mumbai Marathon. It's back after 2 years. There are challenges, but then that's what makes Mumbai and this race very special. So thank you so much for sparing your time. I'm just going to ask one last question before before we're going to call it time. And we'll go with you, Girish, first. Your favorite memory across all these years of Tata Mumbai Marathon?
The Pedder Road stretch, the cheering from the crowds, like the Japanese consulate, people coming out there, the small children carrying sweets, chocolates in the tray. Then we have that Maushi at Shivaji Park. She's always there with the tray, with the chocolates, cheering you up. So Mumbai people everywhere you can see on the street waiting. When our family members, the cousins, they come. The cheering part. Then again, the run clubs now. all the set, everyone is cheering up there. Even the Chopati, Marine Lines, there can you see a huge crowd, the bands which are being played. So the enthusiasm in the um, supporters, the cheering leaders, the volunteers, the spirit of Mumbai, that is really amazing. That really makes a good impact on all this.
Very well put. The spirit of Mumbai makes all the difference. Tamil, உங்களோட ஃபேவரட் மெமரிஸ் என்ன இந்த ரேஸ்ல இருந்து?
Yes, so the one thing
போன
is
10 வருஷத்துல தமிழ்ல கூட பேசலாம், இல்ல இங்கிலீஷ்ல கூட பேசலாம், எந்த பாஷையில வேணா பேசலாம்.
So I mean, where people find it more difficult, usually where the pedal road, which is the difficult patch for most of the runners. So the crowd support on that route, it gives a push. It gives a push there. People standing up with hoardings, give me high five, free hugs, chocolate, like Giri said, like chocolates and water bottles. So extending water bottles to runners. So that is one part which I love. And my favorite memory would be like, I was running with my ART and, with my name at the back. And on the ceiling, there were two guys from Tamil Nadu. Okay. They just called me up. Like, are you Tamil? I said like, yes, I am Tamil. But what pace are you going to hold? So I said like, this is my pace. Please push me. Please push us, both of us, and let us help cross the finish line within our target time. Like, yeah, that's fine. So we did a 28-kilometer run with them. Like, we all three ran. One on my left and one on my right, and I was pacing them and continuously talking to them. So it was a good memory with them, with those runners.
Nice. Wonderful. So on that note, we're going to call it time. All the very best to all of you who have signed up, and we all hope that you're tapering well. No show is complete without Arvind Ajadiara, Aditi, and Karthik Nadar, my partners in crime at Geeks on Feet, who make all this craziness come alive basically, and do our small bit in engaging the community. If you like you don't, if you like something or you don't like something, you feel we can improve on this, feel free to hit us on social media, share your feedback. It's your feedback that makes us, that motivates us to go out and explore newer topics and races and wonderful people like Girish and Tamil in this community. On that note, have a wonderful weekend, taper well, and we'll see all of you, at least most of you who are racing TMM next Sunday at Mumbai. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Karthik.
Thank you so much, Tamil, and thank you so much, Girish.
Pleasure. It was a privilege to share the screen with Girish, sir. And thank you so much, Karthik Nadar, for hosting us. Recommending us for this talk. And thank you so much, Karthik, for hosting us.
Yeah, thank you for being so generous in accepting this invitation and making this a wonderful show. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see both of you in Mumbai, basically.
Definitely. Yes. All the best, guys. Take care.
All the best. Thank you. Take care. Bye.